morning. I'd like to call to order the February 22nd, 2022 public hearing for the City of Tampa's Barrio Latino Commission. Welcome everyone. I'm Rich Simmons, Chair of the Commission. If you are here to present a case, you will have limited time to make your presentation, so we suggest being thorough but concise. When coming to the microphone, you will need to identify yourself and your relationship to the project. The commissioners will not ask any questions during your presentation. Your project should be presented in the following order: site plan, elevations, architectural details, wall sections. Staff will then present the staff report. We will then ask for public comment. Following your presentation, the commissioners will be asking questions in the same order as the presentation. Please state and spell your name clearly for the record. If you are here to speak for or against the project, because your time will be limited to 3 minutes, so take some time now to summarize your comments. Following public comment, the applicant will have 5 minutes for rebuttal. The public hearing will then be closed. The only comments which will be allowed after the public hearing is closed will be in response to any questions from the commission. The commissioners will then discuss the case and make their decision based upon the city ordinance, chapter 27 of the city zoning code, the design guidelines, the Secretary of Interior standards, design review comments, and the testimony given at today's public hearing. The BLC can only act on items that are within our specific jurisdictional responsibility. Owner agents are independently responsible to obtain any appropriate permits and or approvals. If you haven't already done so, please silence your cell phones. We'll start with the introduction of the commissioners, starting on my left.
Ms. Welch.
Good morning, I'm Lee Win.
Jose Perez.
And from staff, we have Dennis Fernandez, Ron Vila, Beverly Juzak, and from City Legal, Camaria Pettis-Mackel. Okay, in our packets today are the minutes from the last meeting from Tuesday, January 25th. Has everyone had a chance to review these? Are there any comments? Any corrections? Seeing that there are no revisions, the minutes will stand by unanimous consent. Mr. Fernandez.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dennis Fernandez, Architecture Review and Historic Preservation Manager. Just a couple brief announcements. I do have the January 2022 administrative approvals to enter into the record. I'll provide those to the clerk. And also, as you may be aware by now, we are scheduling a special public hearing on March the 29th. And so Beverly has been reaching out to you and confirming your availability in order to kind of catch up with our caseloads. We're obviously experiencing a high level of applications right now and need an extra day to somewhat catch up with those responsibilities. So if you haven't yet confirmed your availability, please do with Beverly, and then we'll keep you advised along the way. We will be still having our March 22nd public hearing, and then adding to that with an additional public hearing on the 29th. And with that, I believe we are ready for the disclosure of conflicts of interest and ex parte communication.
Good morning, Camaria Pettis-Mackel from the City Attorney's Office. Will the commissioners please state whether or not they have any conflicts of interest regarding the items that are on the agenda? Hearing none for the record. Additionally, will the commissioners please state whether or not they've had any ex parte communications regarding anything that is on the agenda? Okay, thank you so much.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila, I'm staff with Historic Preservation. Moving down the agenda to continuations, we have one that's reflected, and we're going to need a motion for this. Is BLC 22-72 for the address of 2708 East 12th Avenue. This was a request by the agent to continue to the April 26, 2022 public hearing at 9 a.m.
So moved.
All in favor of said motion, say aye.
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 And thank you for that motion. And as Dennis was alluding to, that we're going to have that special public hearing. The fourth item on today's agenda, which is BLC 22-59, will be continued from today's public hearing to the March 29th public hearing, 2002 at 9 a.m. And if we could get a motion for that, please.
2022? Yes.
2022, yes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to move that case to March 29th, 2022 special call,
Is there a time for that?
It's 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
And we're ready for the first case. Oh, excuse me.
Swear.
Everybody that wishes to testify this morning, please stand up and raise your right hand, including staff for the swearing.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you'll be providing this morning is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Now we can move forward to the first case, which is BLC 21-149. This is for the address of 1919 East Fifth Avenue. Currently, it's a vacant parcel. It does have the YC7 zoning classification tied to it, which 0 setbacks on each of the side elevations, front and rear, are attached to the zoning classification. You'll see the modest setbacks on the site plan as it moves forward. And the request this morning is for a certificate of appropriateness for new construction for a primary structure with an attached garage. Briefly looking at the photo presentation that is on your monitor. We start with the 1929 Sanborn map as a reference to the pattern in the historic district. Property in question has the shaded green area. It does face Fifth Avenue. It is in between 19th Street and 20th Street. Does have a working alley behind the structure. I wanted just to point out that the density and the challenges on these urban parcels. You look at in 1929, you see the primary structures, the detached or the attached garages, and then additional dwelling units. You'll just look at the form here. Some of the accessory structures are detached, as indicated where my cursor's at, and then some of them are attached. This is the vicinity map showing the area in question here. It is speckled through with contributing structures and non-contributing structures and vacant parcels there. So this is the property in question here, and to the west, they have a tract of land that will be developed shortly. This is looking from above. As I indicated, there's some vacant parcels to the west. This is the property in question. Does face Fifth Avenue in between 19th and 20th Street with the alley that runs east and west behind the subject site. This is looking back at the parcel itself. To the east, you have this contributing structure. We use this as a reference point for setback from the property line, which is visually from the back of the sidewalk, and then elevation from grade as well. This is just showing the subject site and the raw land. This is looking to the west, some new construction that's come in front of this board and has been approved. You'll look at the volume here and the massing. You'll look at the setback and elevation from grade as well as a reference point. This is looking at a street shot. Does have some parallel parking to ease some of the parking challenges in this urban environment. And turn around looking down Fifth, this is to the west. Down Fifth Avenue towards 19th Street. Directly across the street. And this is across the street as well. You have some non-contributing structures, this one here and this one here, and this will be your last case that you're going to see today, but this was new construction behind this tree. And this is a period home contributing. Once again, we'll use this for setback and elevation from grade as the project moves forward. This is looking at the condition of the alley. This is looking at the alley towards the east and towards the west. That concludes the photo presentation. At this time, the agent and the owners could approach the podium and begin their presentation.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Joseph Ferraro. This is my girlfriend, Mackenzie McNamara. We are the owners of the lot at 1919 East Fifth Avenue. Frank Borgano is our agent. We're gonna go ahead and present our plans. Mackenzie's going to do most of the talking. She's the most charming out of the three of us, so go ahead, Mackenzie.
Okay. Some of the presentation has already been presented in the pictures that we just went through, so I'll just breeze through those. But let's see. Okay. So as Ron said, this is the current lot. This is an overview of the corner. So we saw the picture of the church that's next door and then the proposed lot, as well as the house on the corner that was just built. Next, we'll go to the site plans. So Frank, I'll let you talk.
Well, this one just pretty much shows the lot line with drainage. So we will be addressing drainage issues when we amass the construction drawings. This is the actual plot showing the house, and we have 2 foot from each. The body of the house is 2 foot from the lot line, and we have a 16-inch overhang. See the 2-car garage. Behind the garage, there will be a cement slab.
This is Chris's.
Okay, so this is the house on the corner, which I'm going to call the Wojewicz house. We were also the general contractors on that project. You'll see when we get to the elevation of that house, from an architectural standpoint, we're going to mimic that house. Block construction, hardy board siding, same windows, same trim, same roof, same fascia, same open eaves, same exact front porch, all the dimensions the same, exactly the same overhang and dimensions from the lot. So we're not trying to create something different. We're going to mimic all of that because we already know that that's been approved by you guys in the past.
This is back to our house.
So now we're back to the house in question here. This is just to show you, once again, the interior. I know that's not what's really up for questioning here, but just as an example. Go ahead.
Oh, also going back on this one, something that we had discussed previously was reducing the width of the garage, so we did move that in a little bit.
Right, so we have, one of the biggest concerns that, or the questions that were posed were in regards to massing. So we had basically a very, very long structure. We tried to, from an aesthetic standpoint, kind of minimize that look, change that look. So we basically shrunk the garage in so that you didn't have such a long look going all the way down.
This is the
Okay,
third.
same thing in regards to massing. It is a 3-story structure. When you looked at it from the front, you basically saw a very large 3-story structure, straight up. So with the help of Ron, we came up with an idea to do 1st story, 2nd story, and then bring the 3rd story in 5 feet so you didn't have that elongated look in the front. And here you can see, I better look at that. See how that front is actually pushed in 5 feet. Go ahead. Another look. This is from the rear, and you can see where the back end we brought in to give it some sort of a, different look.
It's the front
Now,
elevation.
this one, there's a lot of detail on this drawing, obviously, but we wanted to denote everything. And when we get to the Chris Wojciech's house, you'll see that we're basically mimicking the same thing. Now, height, we're at 37 feet, and I believe the code is 45. So we tried to stay, below. We didn't want to go to maximum height. And this gives you a side view, and you can see where we've tried to cut it up a little, basically, so you didn't have such a massive, unesthetically looking building. Same thing, other side. This is the rear. And you can see the construction here. Now, we know we're all the way to the zero lot line. And we know that one day, the church next door will probably be gone and there will be another house. So we have a construction that, we tried to make it as fireproof as possible. We've got block. We've got hardy board siding. We're going to be using fire retardant paint, same that we use in the Wojciech's house. So we tried to address that issue as well. This shows you the front and how we, once again, brought the front in 5 foot to address the massing issue.
Okay, this is,
Okay, so this is the Wojciech's house that we built in, I'm going to say 2016, I believe. You see the architectural design. We're basically going to follow it to the letter. Same porch, same railing on the porch, same siding, same windows all throughout, 3/1, same corner trim, open eaves. So, and you can see here where we denote that. Same stucco on the stem wall. Everything will be mimicked. Same roof, which is metal V-crimp.
this is the attached garage.
Same garage door we're going to do. We're trying to make it easy on everybody so that we're not reinventing the wheel here.
Okay, so next is other 3-story houses.
Okay, so one of the issues that we wanted to address is we wanted to show you that we are not the only 3-story structure in Ybor City. So we went around, took photos, gave you addresses to show you that we're, we're not trying to step out of line and do something different.
This is where we currently live, diagonal from the plot right now.
Can you go back 2 slides? Can you state for the record what these addresses are?
Yes, of course.
Can you
Okay,
go back? Yeah.
so start here. 2058 East 5th Ave. This is 1611 East 5th Ave. Two 2002 East 5th Ave. 1699 East 4th Ave. This is another picture of 1699 East 4th Ave. The patio is a little bit shorter than ours. Ours is proposed 8 feet, and this one was less than 6 feet.
And also the setback is the same as the patio on the top there. It's just more of a side view, just so you can see it.
1821 East Fifth Ave. Ron already went over these earlier, but this is 1911 East Fifth Ave. This is next door to where we're building, proposed building. 1912 East Fifth Ave. And then 1945 East Fourth Ave. Okay. Next are exterior paint colors. Do you want me to talk about these? I can go through.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, I think they blend in with the neighborhood very well. I don't think there will be an issue there.
We love the blue of the corner house, but we don't want to copy them, so we'll do gray instead. The exterior doors, that's a picture of the front door, and then the side garage door, but they will be that brown color that you see to the side.
So you see the front door is gonna basically mimic the windows, kind of a 3/1 scenario.
The exterior windows will be 3/1, and then with the bronze outline. We are using the hardy plank that you had already talked about.
Yeah, and then it'll be smooth, so it, matches what typically was used in the area.
And then the garage door will be similar to the previous garage door we showed you on the corner house, but with the windows added, because I know that was something that we talked about in the previous meeting. And that is all we have.
Okay, so in closing, I think this house is gonna add a nice feature to the neighborhood in Ybor City. Our company, my company, is very pro Ybor. We were the ones that did the most recent remodeling of the Italian Club. We did the Lion's Eye, Institute. As you saw, we did the Wojciech house, and we're looking forward to doing this house. We work well with Ron. We don't, we're not there to make changes. We're there to comply, and we're there to do whatever it is we have to do to get this to be right.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Vila?
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. Staff's finding that the application that was submitted on the 29th of January was inconsistent with the Ybor City Design Guidelines. Initially, when Joe and his team came forward, we looked at the massing. The vernacular that they chose, more of a craftsman style, leads to a 2-story volume. He added a 3rd story there. So we talked about setting that front facade 3rd story back. Initially, it was all in the same plane. The plans that I reviewed had a 1-foot setback. And then this morning, this is the first time I saw it too, that they pushed it back, I believe, 5 foot. So they're working with us to break that massing down. So from the street and the perspective, the volume that you engage with is more of a 2-story. Right now, there's raw land to the west. We have some applications that are coming forward that empty parcels will be built up. So the view from the side will be somewhere obscured in the future. But they are working to break down the massing. Our main concern, why they received the inconsistent review, was because of the massing that was in the same plane. So that has been addressed this morning. I believe a little more discussion needs to take place on the setback. With numbers put into the record from the property line to the body of the building, whatever that is, needs to be indicated and reviewed this morning. And then elevation from grade. So there's some historic references around there, and put that into the record as well. The 3rd bullet item is for consistency or compliance with the building code. As I entered into this review through the photo presentation, I showed that this was a YC7 zoning classification, which 0 setbacks for the side can be accomplished, but it also has to meet building code and fire separation. So this is just to alert them early on that they're gonna have to have that fire rating. Currently, I believe he's showing 6 inches from the end of the gutter to the property line, which is very tight. So I believe that they've built in the past, and as long as you have some fire retardant materials there, the building department will accept that. He had mentioned through the presentation a prior project that was approved that will match, I believe, for the record as well, that it needs to be entered into the record. So go from the ridge all the way to the foundation and talk about the materials. If you have illustrations or photos to show, it would be important to show it at this time as well. I'm going down my list here for a minute. As indicated, YC7 allows for a 45-foot in height. They're going to 37. They are not trying to exercise the total entitlements that they have at that property. Touch upon the foundation a little bit as you go around the side. I know that and if you have a wall section of the side as well, I think you have multiple wall sections, run through your wall sections completely. And then talk about the trim around the windows and how you wish to accomplish that. This is block construction, correct?
Correct.
All the floors?
All the way up.
All the way up.
yeah.
That concludes my portion of the staff report, and I'll be here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Vila. Anyone here from the public wishing to comment on this case? Seeing none, we can start asking questions of the applicant. We'll start on my right with Mr. Perez.
So I wanted to ask you if you could show the existing residence that you're sort of copying or mimicking in relation to where this property is. Do you have that?
Yes. Sorry. There's probably a better way to do this, but. Okay, so the corner,
I gotcha.
and then the church is in the middle, and then ours is going to be the third plot.
To the left of the church on that.
Okay.
So the house on the corner is the one that we're gonna mimic architecturally. Then there's a church in the middle, and then we're on the other side.
Okay. Go ahead. I don't have any more questions.
As Ron sort of asked, could you pull up the Wadsworth house, and can we just maybe either go from bottom up or top down and just kind of go through all the materials from roofing down to like the stem wall? Go over everything again.
You want the actual photos, not the plan, correct?
Yeah, so since you're mimicking the materials, we can just go through the existing house and just kind of talk through all the materials.
Okay,
There.
so
Oh, sorry. We'll get there.
Okay, so let's start from the top, work our way down. The top, the roof portion of the top is a metal 5-inch V-crimp roof. Then as we work our way down, let's start with the actual skeleton. It's a block structure that has been furred out, and then we've added hardy board siding, smooth. The trim on the windows is a 1x6 trim, and we made it consistent with what the neighborhood bore back in the day. Open eaves, once again consistent with the neighborhood as it born back in the day. You'll see the railing system on the second floor. You'll see the railing system on the first floor. You'll see the columns. You'll see the, I'll call it a stem wall. That's stuccoed, sand finish stucco. You see the stairway, the width of the porch. All of that was approved in 2016. And we're going to stick with that same architecture because it basically mimics what the neighborhood bore back in the day. All the materials are composite. Were approved. Were not approved, then we used wood. Windows 3/1. Okay, setback with a return. So it's the corner trim, everything. We basically mimicked what we thought the neighborhood bore, back in the day.
Thank you. And then could you talk about the window and door trims around the house as well?
I'm sorry, the what?
The window and door trims around the house and how they were constructed?
It's window and door trims.
Oh, the window and door trim, it's a 1x6. I believe it's hardy material, which is composite. And it's kind of got a little return. We did the trim to mimic turn of the century, what it looked like back in the day.
And then we also added the band around the second and third floor.
To break it up.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can see the band between the second and the, and then in the case of this home, there'll be 2 bands because there's 3 stories as opposed to 2. Even, you can't see it, but on the other side of this structure, there's a pool. And we went as far as handmade the screen enclosure by wood. So we didn't have aluminum. We tried to mimic what would be part of the day back then. And believe me, that wasn't easy.
Could we look at the elevations of the proposed house at 1919? Okay.
There you go. So if the porch would be identical, the columns are identical, all of that stucco. You see the stem wall surrounding it, that's identical. The railing systems, both second and first floor, are exactly identical. Windows, identical trim. You see the door 3/1 to mimic the windows 3/1. Roof will be the same. Also, which I think you're gonna like, is that we're doing the half-round gutter system with a round downspout, which we did on the Lion's Eye Institute, and it came out very, very nice. So,
Great. And then could we see the rear elevation? And this is going to be accessed off an alley, correct? For the property?
Yes, correct.
And then just one thing is from the, I believe the plans, so the condensing units are going to be above the garage, is that correct? Sitting above there?
Yeah, right on that, on the, right directly above the garage, there'll be the 3 units, the AC units, yep.
All right, great. Those are my questions for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
They asked a couple of the ones I had. One of the questions I had is you decided to go with a solid slab for the driveway versus a ribbon driveway. Is there a thought process behind that? Is there?
in all honesty, I took direction from Mr. Vila on that.
Okay.
We're open, I mean, it could be whatever. I don't think they're opposed to, that's not a big,
It's not a, yeah.
that's not a deal breaker, so to speak.
If I could elaborate on that, when there's a short transition from an alley to the entrance, it's very difficult to have the turning radius to stay on those ribbons. So what happens, the car
Got
kind of
it.
drifts off the ribbons, and then they end up putting a different material in between the ribbons anyway.
Okay.
So there is a small void from the alley to what they showed on their site plan. So whatever material that is, just continue to the connection to the alley.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. That's all I have.
You bring up your site plan? Okay, so where are the adjacent structures on this? I'm trying to get a better handle on how you came up with your front setback. I mean, do you show the
Okay,
rest of the
When you
block?
say front setback, you mean the third story pushed
Nope,
back?
the front setback. Setback from the street. Needs to match adjacent
We
structures
were,
on that.
once again, we went to code, we went to look to the Wojciech house that we already did prior.
Voidovich house? Right.
Right, and that's, we just mimicked it. We didn't wanna upset the apple cart, just did what we already knew would pass.
Okay, so there's no documentation on what you're proposing to us to indicate what your setback is from the front yard? And what's your finished floor height? Those are staff comments that you were discussed with them in the future. I don't see any information on that.
Well, on this particular drawing, it doesn't show, you're basically wanting the difference between the porch to the sidewalk, is that what you're asking? Yeah.
For the porch or the majority of the house. All the setbacks are determined from a historical standard that is averaged over your block. So whether you have a precedent of the Voidovich house or the adjacent church or another structure on your block, there's no documentation to indicate how far back your house is set.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is make sure we put that on the actual drawing.
Well, I mean, you have a nice presentation, but there's a lot of specific information that we're looking for in order to position the house appropriately on the site, and that documentation is lacking. You've shown us an adjacent project and say it's going to match exactly. Well, we don't know what that really means. So I get the intent from the design intent, of what you're trying to do, but we're making a lot of assumptions here of, you're asking for approval from this board on a bunch of assumptions and pictures that it's going to look like this, but we need to know what that is.
Hang on.
Chris's house should have.
What's your finish, do we know what our finished floor height is? Can you,
Hard to see. I think it says 12 inches.
Sorry, we're trying to pull up the plans from the house in the corner.
I mean, on our monitor, we can see the Voidovich house. So it's got I can see a finished floor elevation. Are you entering into the record that you're gonna match that finished floor elevation? But that's only the porch shown there, and I don't know if I can make out any setback. So, these are important details that we're trying to get a better handle on here. So, no.
I can't, I don't wanna just make up a figure. I can take an educated assumption here that basically, if you go back to yours, we're 7 foot away on the porch, or the porch is 7 foot. Then we have the stairway, so it looks like from the.
Nine foot from
It looks
property
like
line.
there's 2 feet sidewalk. So are you wanting from the sidewalk, or are you wanting?
I need to know what the historic precedent is for how you're positioning your house on the site.
Let me see if there's any other ones.
So if there's other historic homes, you're trying to mimic a historic home, you need to know how far that is from the street. And usually, and I think that's, goes back to staff comments, that
We made it very simple. We just mimicked the other house that we did.
Ron, I mean, is that enough information for you, or, I mean, that's,
In the past, that information was presented to staff. They show the historic fabric within that block. They have a structure that's a contributing structure to the east. It's very easy to provide that information to us. And then they do have the house that they continue to reference. It's not a historic home, but that pattern was established, and the historic pattern was established, and then the discussion to approve that structure, the setback was consistent. Then across the street, there is some historic fabric as well. It is reduced. As I tried to allude, the zoning is YC7, which is 0, but the historic pattern would take precedent over that. So those numbers should be delegate or presented to staff so we could have whatever that averaging is. They should be in line with the fabric established in the immediate vicinity.
Okay, and I think that's the same issue with finished floor elevation, I mean, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
I mean, there's a lot of leeway that they're asking for here to say, oh, well, everything's gonna match this adjacent house.
Well, how many risers do you have? What's indicated on the drawings?
3, I believe.
And to meet code is a 7, is what you're
You mean
presenting?
as far as
The height of the risers?
Yeah, yeah.
So
7
so
and
you're at
11.
21, 22,
yeah, of
somewhere around there?
course.
And the house that you're referencing, how many risers are there?
3,
Okay.
same railing system.
Okay. Let's see, let's go to your elevations. Let's go to the side elevation, please. So how'd you come up with the 5-foot setback of the third unit? What's your justification for the 5 feet?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
The
that.
justification for the 5 feet setback on the third floor.
The justification is simple. We were asked to address the massing issue. In other words, in layman's terms, when you looked at the house, you saw this giant, this large 3-story structure. Boof. We tried to soften that look. So on the 3rd story, we pushed it back so you had almost some sort of a reveal, a little better flow.
Yeah, why 5 feet?
Because that's what we had to make it practical as well. I realize that for the purposes of this board, we're worried about exterior, but we have to have some sort of, coherence with the interior as well. So we pushed it back as far back as we could, and yet it still made sense from the interior, because we have an elevator we're dealing with. There's all sorts of issues. So that's why we came up with the 5 feet.
Okay, there's no historic precedent that you saw. I think a lot of the pictures that you showed us were actually 2-story structures. You claiming, they might have a window up there and they may look like a 3rd story. They might be a loft, but they're really not 3rd stories. And some of the pictures that you showed us, like 1611 East 5th Avenue, which is a townhome, they set back that 3rd story. So I don't know if you had that, even though it's a non-historic type of project. Is there a setback that they use that you want to?
We're gonna try and get to these photos.
So there was not a set setback, but from the interior, just to kind of comply with still using that 3rd
Right,
floor
that's a loft right
space.
there.
Okay, there's a loft.
That's the one
This is
I
the
mean,
one.
is that
That-
non-historic, but do you know what that setback is?
That, it looked, I don't know what it is, but from the street, it looked like about 5 feet back.
Okay,
And same with this one here. This was the one that, the screen, I know it's a
That's
loft,
a
but that was
roof,
about 5
yeah.
feet as well, because that's what the patio was.
So that's actually like flush, it's not, the 3rd floor is in
Right.
back, or the loft.
okay.
And we tried to, if you look at our porch, we went 7 feet because we wanted them, make it more of a practical porch and more.
Yeah, I think a lot of those porches that you see in there are 5 feet, which is a little too narrow. I think that's,
Right.
realistic to make that deeper. So really, I mean, if you're talking 2 foot off the front sidewalk, then you've got a 7-foot porch there, then you're set back, so you're really putting it back from the street line 12 feet there, so. Let's go back to the first floor plan, if you will. Okay, yeah. So,
Sorry.
nope. So why the two different setbacks on your garage? Why don't you make where you've got the red clouds? What's the,
So that's actually with the interior, on our second floor. It didn't match up perfectly with the bathroom, and I know you guys don't look at the interior, but it was coinciding with the interior on the
let's look
second
at the
floor.
second floor then.
So we don't have the second floor on here.
Yeah, you know, that kind of bothers me. I mean, why, you're making a slight move there and they're uneven. I mean, you'll have houses on both sides of you, but I don't understand the justification for that. I mean, is that to try to get a little bit more setback back there, or what's
Why?
the reason?
Why it's uneven
Yeah,
is because of the second floor, how the walls work on the second floor for a bathroom and for a laundry room.
okay.
Pull up the second floor picture. I mean, we don't have it in the presentation.
Yeah, I could go into my email and get the second floor, if that helps.
I mean, why even make that move? I mean, if you're just setting back that wall, is it because you're concerned about the setbacks and the side yard setbacks, or is it purely a space?
Oh, no, that was a
Issue.
recommendation from Ron to move in the garage.
Yeah, yeah, shrinking that, part, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, the reason why we did that was because when you looked from the side, we were advised that it would be better to kind of break it up, give it a little bit of a reveal from an architectural standpoint. And that's, I mean, if it's the board's recommendation that we don't do that, that's a 2-second fix.
No, I think, you know, typically I think in a historic structure or any project in general, if you're changing the use from a living area to a garage, that's where you make the transition, and then that translates up. You know, I think you identify the massing for what the function is inside, right? So just kind of a random move, and I didn't understand if there was some kind of justification for making that move.
Yeah, I think it was to break up from the main portion of the house and the garage, but we are completely fine with moving it back out.
I mean, originally, that's the way we had it, and then we were, you know, we were told
Okay.
that.
And you guys said you had 2-foot setback on either side. You got a 16-inch overhang, so that leaves you, what, 6-8 inches if you've got gutters. So you're down to like 4 inches to your property line. And I think one of the photos that I saw of the
We got
Voidovich
16
garage.
inches, 2 feet, yeah.
Okay. And I think one of the photos I saw was, you know, looked like the rafter tails for the Voidovich house kind of, you know, are pretty close to the alley. So I have a concern with the house being that close to the side yards with the setbacks.
Well, once again, we just mimicked what was already approved prior in the Wojciech house. We didn't, we
Well, this is
followed-
a separate application, so I'm just making sure I understand what you're doing, because you're kind of entering into the records like, oh, it's gonna look like this, but it looks nothing like that. You may have the same construction types and materials and windows and doors, but the massing is completely different. And that's what we're reviewing here, is what the massing is, what the intent of your plan is to construct a house in the historic district, so. Okay, let's go to the front elevation. All right, so here's an example. Like on this, you're showing your windows, 3/1s, right? But then and you show your window trim, and I think you've entered into the record what that window trim is gonna be, but their window trim on the Voidovich house is completely different from what you're presenting here. Not completely different, but different with the trims and the sill. So the sill's different. I don't think we want gas lights or lamps on any of the front columns. Those need to be back on the house or underneath on the soffit.
Understood.
Okay, let's go back to the, and I'm okay with, you know, the stucco, I think looks fine here, the columns, you know, I can see your precedent of what you're calling in there. So I think that all looks fine. Let's go back to maybe one of the massing models. One more. Okay, so this model looks like you're setting back your front, your third story there. Yeah, I guess it kind of, this part right here where it transitions to the garage kind of, it's like that break needs to happen right here. Because then you differentiate what the house is. I can't point up there, but your break line from the house to the garage needs to happen where the third story ends. I mean, that's a good transition right there. It's like you're making that jog on the side, just puts it back, you know, 2 feet, 3 feet, whatever it is, where that really needs to happen
Okay, so
at the end of the third
make sure I
story.
understand what you're saying. I think I do. So what you would rather is that, in respective of the back, just to kick the third story out to where it is one definitive line, correct? Is that what you-
Or bring that break back in under the third story.
I don't think we can do
We
that.
can do the third floor though.
Yeah, move
Yeah.
the third.
Yeah,
We can
Make
move the
the
whole thing back?
covered-
no, just
No,
move.
Just this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we can take the back of it and just kick it back, whatever footages it is, 3 feet, 4 feet,
Yeah.
whatever it is. That's from,
So what you're,
I see what you're saying, yeah.
are you gonna take the whole third story and shift it back
No.
to that break line?
No,
You're gonna
just the
take
back
that.
and shift it back, just elongate.
Yeah, because I think, you know, you're looking at your two different forms, and you're asking us to consider the massing here, and there's a, you know, it adds another form to the massing that I think we're trying to simplify and make this a little bit more consistent. I think that, you know, the gesture of, you know, the 5 foot setback of the third floor, I think 5 foot's decent, you know? I mean, it's better than the foot that they showed before. Maybe maybe it should be another couple feet, but 5 feet, I think that's what you've talked with staff, so I think everything's good with that. But if we can align that in your side yard setback, I mean, it does a number of things for you. It aligns your gutters, it brings all your trim back in, and it differentiates, you know, you have your garage separate from the house, your house, and then I think it's at your screen porch or enclosed like a view garden or anything, bring that back in. That might give you a little bit more room for your AC units there. So I think it's more trying to make this a cohesive whole.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, can we go to the other view? And I'm okay with the trim boards here for the sides. Mr. Vila, the garage doors, I think the Voidovich house, the garage doors have the decorative latches on it, which I think that was kind of an issue. You don't typically see that in a historic district. They've shown us some cut sheets of their proposed garage doors. Is there like a staff opinion on the garage doors?
The direction of the board in the past is that the door is simplified off the alley and that it would have some kind of glazing to break it up. The transition from the alley to the vehicular entrance was reviewed by transportation, and the setback is consistent with the technical manual. I don't know if there's gonna be any fencing, if they wanna discuss any fencing coming off the alley, or if that will be viewed.
No fencing.
But we go back to the style of the home, and if it's a craftsman style home, then the bracing and the handles on the door would be appropriate.
Okay, and you gave us an example of that, of the garage door.
Yes. Would you like to see it again?
Please. No? It's all the way at the end.
Sorry. Okay. So this shows it's just a double car door, and it's going to be the same
But
color.
it's more the panelized one on the right,
Yes, correct, with the windows at the top.
smaller windows, just
But
as
it'll
long as
be
it's not
white.
typical suburban type of garage door.
It's gonna be in white.
Yes.
Hmm?
Yes, I believe
Okay.
so.
So it'll be white as well, so it's not gonna,
Okay, could you go back a couple, sorry, slides.
Tell me
I'm gonna go back to the plans.
when. Okay. Sorry, this is, wish there was an easier way. Okay.
Okay, yeah, wall sections. So, what's your transition? You're gonna do stucco at the retaining wall, at the stem wall? So then that'll match your stucco on the front porch, your whole entry is all stucco. Okay,
basically, stem wall, fill, slab, and then
can we go to the other section? So how are you gonna, and I think I saw some detail on this where that decorative trim is gonna follow your finished floors, right? So what's your side treatment for this roofing? And maybe the side elevation or model may be a little bit better, I thought I saw. Is it, you're just gonna continue the cladding into there, trim out the sides? Yeah, go to the massing model.
This one?
No, the 3D.
Other side?
Yeah, see up front, you've got that hole there, right, underneath your roof, but that's actually gonna get filled in, right? That siding is gonna come out all the way.
show me where he's pointing. I can't hear him.
On the first floor?
Nope, on the second to third floor roof, the shed roof up front.
We are actually keeping that, we were proposing to keep this open, correct? Correct.
Can you point to it with your mouse? I don't know if that works on this.
You're talking about the second story roof.
The shed roof on the front.
Right,
Over
in
the
the
porch.
front.
That's gonna be open?
You're talking about the side,
Yep, yep,
which is, that's gonna be left open.
open, okay.
Yeah.
Go back to your elevations for a second, I'll wrap this up. One more. So that, yeah, that kind of shows it as open, so you stop the hardy trim there, okay. Okay. Thank you. All right, you've got a few minutes before we close the public hearing. If you want to summarize, I think we've made some suggestions. I mean, if you want to say that you're into certain, if you're, some of the changes that we talked about, if you're open to that, but we're going to ask you for final confirmation of any changes to the project before a motion.
Wait, hold, Ms. Welch, did you have any questions? No. Okay, okay.
So yes, we're open to all the changes. We're going to implement the changes. We actually like the change of moving the third story back. That's a great change for us. We're open to all of those.
Okay, any other comments?
No, we're both very excited to, we're in Ybor now. We appreciate the area currently as well as what it's gonna be. So, we're both very excited. Thank you all for your time.
Great. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. We can now discuss the case amongst ourselves. Mr. Perez?
Perez, can you please turn on your microphone? Thank you.
I think my biggest concern is the front elevation and the three windows. You know, they showed all these three-story with a loft on the top. I think they should try to do something similar to that, maybe just one big window in the center or something, try to mimic that, maybe lower it more, just to look like what some of the samples that they were showing. Because just reading as a three-story, I don't know. If you can put up the front elevation, maybe we can take a look at it.
Go to the front elevation.
That one right there. And then if you want to go back to some of the samples that you showed.
Sure.
Just remember, public hearing's closed, so.
Oh, okay,
But we can have them put up references for us, you know,
that's my only comment.
yeah.
When you look at those samples, like that, or there's a better one, keep going.
Yep.
That one.
So you're basically saying
We're
combine the
gonna,
windows?
the public hearing's closed, so we're just discussing the case. We asked for some visuals, but we'd have to reopen that if we wanna make some more comments. And, we'll give you an opportunity to talk at the end here.
Got it.
I think that's, might be
Even
some
like that
concern when you
picture.
Look at the front
Yeah.
elevation.
Yeah, I think once it transitions up to that third story, I think in general, I was okay with all the window placements on the side and everything. The front, maybe it changes the language to it, like a two windows up there instead,
I
just
think
to,
they have something similar on the back, with a bigger window or
Right.
opening with the flanking smaller windows. That could be something, the massing is different from that, but that's my only concern.
And if you look at the Wojciechowicz house,
Ms. Welch, can you please turn on your microphone? Thanks.
if you look at the example house, they've got two windows in front, right next to each other, giving that bigger window impression, versus this one has separate windows. Okay.
I like that, and it's part of I think they kind of box themselves in much, going straight in for a craftsman style house, and then kind of limiting, the lot size is limiting, right? So you want to go 3 stories,
Right.
and that kind of limited them right off the bat, and you're kind of shoehorning a craftsman style into a 3-story build. But I think that's a good suggestion. We just maybe, like, they'll have to lower the pitch of that front porch roof maybe a little bit, because those windows are already pretty much right at the top of that shed roof there. But they lower that, can maybe kind of try to lower the windows a bit and kind of make it look a little more lofty in that sense. I like Rich's idea of pushing out the back of the 3rd story as well. Obviously, it gives them more square footage, so I'm sure they're happy about that as well. And I think you can just take, and I think they could even take the less restrictive of how you set it back in for the garage, right? You can push the other one further out as well, and just kind of line everything up and make everything symmetrical that way as well. It's just the whole house is symmetrical as well. That's kind of a little detail that you can kind of fix up there as well, and just make it along the other side with whatever bathroom restriction you had, or that was kind of limiting one side or the other. Yeah, later. But other than that, yes, I think for the restrictions they had, taking the craftsman style, they've kind of had an example and stuck to it, and you kind of take it where it is, and sort of as best as that kind of that craftsman style can be, and sort of this 3-story application.
yeah. And I think that was a good move, like taking that 3rd story 5 feet. I would have liked to see a little bit more, and I think there's more things that they could play with that 3rd floor, pushing it back so you have your main house and you have your garage, and then if you want to do a sunroom on part of it, you can do that, but that all should align there. So I think there's still some more design work, and I guess I'm trying to get comfortable. Is that something that we could, designate the staff to work with them on? Because I think the presentation's pretty loose, as far as what you guys want to do. They asked us to say, okay, we're copying the Vojciechowicz house, and this is what we're doing, and take our word for it, and that's not what we're here for. So I think your project, probably needed some more documentation. Things that the staff were asking you to do is probably, most of it I think were addressed, but some issues on the drawings were not. So, but I think the window pattern works, the height, the massing works. I'd like to, get a little bit more detail, but I think we can work with staff on getting that setback set to the historic precedent. The massing, by bringing that 3rd story back, adjusts. I think we need to get our hands around that. Real estate's obviously getting more expensive, so they're gonna
Yeah.
optimize the site as much as possible. So instead of seeing like 2 stories, we're gonna start seeing more 3 stories, and just making sure that it's done right, and appropriate for the district.
And I think you made a comment too of showing the adjacent porches all the way to the corner. So
Right.
that we know they align, it's documented, and then the finished floor elevation, and that's.
Yeah, and part of it's code, but part of it's, sign off. So I think staff can work that, but I just like seeing that in the presentation to make sure that they've thought about it and make sure that they're aligned. do we need to have additional discussion on what's gonna happen with that third floor and that alignment back there, or is that something that we feel confident that they can work with staff on?
I'm sure Garth's got it. I mean, I think it's, it's pretty straightforward to align it, take all those trim edges kind of straight up at that point. It's nothing too complex.
Okay. Any other comments? Any other comments?
No more
So there's a few things that, we're talking about. We'll open up the public hearing again here in a minute. So, the big thing is obviously shifting that third story or that alignment on the back with the garage to make that all work. I think we feel strongly about that. I think you guys are in general agreement with that. Changing the windows up on the second floor to making that make it more look like a loft instead of a third story. I mean, we talked about different options. You could bring two windows together, and there's different things that you can do there, because I know you want to bring light in there. No lights on the exterior columns. Those go back on the house or under the porch. And I think you need to work with staff on making sure that your building alignment and finished floor elevation is coordinated. That's something. So we're going to go ahead and reopen the public hearing to make sure that, or they're in agreement, Kamaria? Or?
So you closed the hearing, you discussed it, now it's time for the board members to make ready for a motion. And if you want to put conditions on that motion.
Then we can open it then, get there to.
All you have to do is just ask them if they are willing
affirm.
to accept the
Okay.
conditions.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion then. So move to grant certificate, to a final approval with conditions, move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in BLC 21-149 for the property located at 1919 East Fifth Avenue, with the following conditions: that the applicant works with staff to ensure that the setbacks for the house match the neighboring properties around the lot, to them to determine the final finish elevation of the first floor to match the properties around the lot as well, for them to work on lowering the angle of the shed roof from the second to third story and making the windows at the front elevation look more like a loft style windows, for them to align the insets at the garage, and then to bring the third story out to align at the garage insets as well. And then to work with staff as well to determine the exterior lighting of the house, and then to work with staff for all the window trims, door colors, finishes, and including the garage. Anything else that I may have missed? Because based on the finding of the fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Ybor City design lines of the City of Tampa for the following reasons: that it conforms with the height and width of the neighborhood and the similarity of details and forms in the craftsman style for Ybor City. Motion, need a second?
Need a second?
I'm gonna second, but, excuse me, can I ask, I wanna make sure that you said something in there that I just may
Okay,
have
sure.
missed.
What conditions
Did
do
you
we have?
address the lighting?
Exterior lighting? Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, exterior lighting
I
for the
just
house.
missed that when you were reading
No
it.
worries.
Second,
Okay, so there's some conditions, Mario, now?
Just ask if they accept it.
There's conditions that you've heard, and matter of record, make sure that you are in agreement with these conditions.
We are, in all conditions, yep.
Okay? All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, do we need to take a quick break for the case? No, we're good? Okay. All right, so we'll move into our second case, BLC 22-39. And,
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila. I am staff with Historic Preservation. Moving to the next case is BLC 22-39. This is for the address of 2022 East Columbus Drive. Currently, it's a vacant parcel. with the underlying zoning of YC2. The request is for a certificate of appropriateness for new construction for a primary structure with site improvements. Moving to the photo essay. Is this on your screen? Okay, thank you. Once again, this is the Sanborn map from the early 1900s. Property in question is highlighted in the green parcel. In 1929, it was referred to Michigan Avenue. Currently, this is Columbus Drive. The subject site is on the north side of Columbus and between 20th Street and 21st. 21st is a one-way street coming into the heart of Ybor City. And there is an alley that runs to the rear of the property that will be accessed to bring the vehicles to the back of the subject site and to meet City of Tampa code. This is our vicinity map, just to get an understanding of the location within the general vicinity of Ybor City. The red perforated line is the boundaries for Ybor City, and the property in question is here on Columbus Drive, once again between 20th Street and 21st Street. It's on the northeastern area of the vicinity. This is an overhead shot showing the density that's there and some of the opportunities that are have for new construction with the open parcels. Columbus Drive. This is on the north side of Columbus Drive, where the alley will service the lot. This is looking at the parcel. There's two sites that we're going to look at this morning. One is this intermediate parcel, and then the next application will be this corner parcel. So we're focusing right here. You see the alley in the background, and you see Columbus in the foreground. This is looking at the vacant parcel that is abutting to the west. Just getting familiar with Columbus Drive. This is a one-way street as well. This is looking to the east. And looking to the west, there's some opportunity here to do some parallel parking. Looking directly across the street, vacant parcel. This is to the south of Columbus Drive. This is looking down 21st Street. You see the arrows pointing back into Ybor City. This is that one-way street looking at the overpass and as you get into Ybor. And this is the condition of the alley. So there is a small paved area as you come off of 21st Street. The subject site is over here. The fence was kind of a reference point. This is the abutting to the west. And the alley is not totally paved. You see the indication of where the fence lines are at, where the alley is. This has to be reworked. We're working with transportation now to get a final solution for the surface material. That concludes the photo presentation. At this time, the agent could address the board. Juan or Elliot.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Juan Quinones. This is Elliot Acosta. We are agents for the owner on this property. And we're going to talk about a little bit about the project, starting with the site plan, as mentioned before. Not sure if you guys are seeing the screen yet, or if I need to do anything else on my end. Okay.
No, it's PC.
PC, right?
Did you plug it into the system?
Yeah. That's the HDMI. So let's see. There it is. Now, there you go. Now we're in. So again, the property is facing East Columbus. We have North 21st Street on the east side of the property. We have an alley behind our property. Basically, we located the house or the single-family structure at a block average between all the rest of the buildings on the same block. Our finished floor elevation is about 30 inches above finished grade, which is similar to the rest of the other houses around the block, on the same block facing this property. Access to the vehicular access will be from the alleyway. So coming down from North 21st into the alley and then into our property. We have worked with transportation to figure out exactly how to lay out the driveway. So we ended up putting that driveway based on the recommendations from transportation. That's our site. Our setbacks are 5 feet from each side, 20 feet from the rear. That's about it on the site plan. Then let's go back to our elevations for this house. It's a one-story structure. Again, about 30 inches from finished grade. We're proposing to have stucco on this house. We have some checker siding on the end gables. We have the roof, it's gables throughout. On the rear as well, the rear will be stucco. We have separated the base from the building with a 6-inch stucco band all the way around, as you see. The columns will be proposing to have a stucco brick on them, painted with some taper columns. Also exposed rafters, and the roof will be asphalt shingles. Around the windows, we are proposing to do stucco banding, similar to the period houses around there, which is the 5-inch bands around the windows and then the 6-inch on top with some trimming work with stucco. Let's see. Construction of the house will be all CMU with a stem wall. Again, the finished floor will be 30 inches above grade. Finish will be stucco. We'll have some exposed rafters. And the roof will be shingle again. So I'm running along here, show you a few of the materials that we'll be using. We're thinking about doing just a period door, fiberglass, with one window on top and two, kind of similar to this picture that I'm showing you here. For the windows, there will be wood-cladded windows, white, 1/1, simple. And one thing that I forgot to mention, these houses are for affordable housing, so we're trying to keep it as cost-effective as possible. The same house will be, we're proposing to use on the next lot as well. Similar houses around the area. We took, 2911 North 11th Ave, the stucco. You got the stucco columns, stucco gables. We also pulled 2801 with stucco gable ends, stucco houses. This one has a little bit of grid work on the windows. We are proposing 1/1. And that concludes our presentation. So keeping it simple. If you guys got any questions, feel free.
The staff report, you can leave that graphic up.
Sure.
We'll have some questions on that. Mr. Vila?
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. Staff's finding that this application is consistent with the Ybor City Design Guidelines. We had some conditions attached to this request, and I'm gonna go through the brief list at this time. The YC2 zoning classification allows for the setbacks for the front yard and the rear yard to be at 10 and the sides to be at 3. So if this is to move forward as presented, where the house is illustrated on the site plan, a design exception is required to reduce the 10-foot setback by code, to reduce that to meet the intent of the historic fabric. With all new construction, the first item that staff goes to is setbacks and elevation from grade. So we work closely with all the applicants to come forward to provide that information. So a little more information and detail is required. I talked about the alley. You saw the offset of the paving that's there now. That was kind of left behind from, from past projects. He is working with transportation at this time to find a solution, so that should be a condition as it moves forward as well. The stucco pattern should be reviewed and approved on site. We usually work with the contractor to provide 2, 3, 4 different solutions, and then we work to see which is the most effective that meets our criteria. The body of the structure is going to be stucco, and the final design will be on site, approved on site. The columns themselves should either be stucco. A scored stucco is not a pad that this board or staff has supported in the past. So a smooth column or pier to match the body of the building would be preferred. The banding, he provided some examples on the drawings. It shows a scored stucco banding around the windows and doors. There is reference within the district. There's a couple period homes that come to mind that are made out of stucco that have a traditional material, which is wood. For new construction, the implementation of a hardy product would be a path that could be pursued, but not just the scoring of the stucco there. That's more of a contemporary design that is foreign to the district. On the rear elevation, the gables aren't defined like the front. I know it's the rear. Maybe you could put a trim board there. Maybe you can incorporate the shake shingles. We understand it's affordable housing, but a little more discussion on that rear elevation as well. I don't believe hardware and lighting was expressed this morning. If it was, I missed it. And the final color palette. At this time, that concludes staff's portion, and I'll be here to answer any questions.
Does anyone here in the audience wish to make a public comment on this case? Please step forward. Could you give the microphone up to him for a second?
Hello, board. Marquez McGee, City of Tampa, Housing and Community Development. This lot was given to some affordable housing developers to provide affordable housing here in the City of Tampa. These prices the income levels of the end users will be at or below 80% of area's median income. So that means a person that is making about $55,000 to $60,000 a year will be able to afford these particular products that we're going to be putting out. It's part of the mayor's T3 initiative to provide affordable housing throughout the city. These lots were donated to these developers to provide this affordable housing product. So we would thank you for this opportunity.
Were these DOT lots that were donated or?
No,
private?
they were part of the infill phase 2 project.
Okay.
So they were economic remainder lots that were bought by the city years and years ago.
Okay.
And now developed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll go, we can now ask the applicant questions.
I think my only comment or question would be, why was the rear gable not addressed like the front? I see a note in here that to look at maybe adding some vent gables. Just curious why.
Absolutely. We can certainly add some vent gables to either side of these building. We didn't not address that. We're trying to keep it as simple as possible.
I know. Understood.
But we can definitely add a few vents to those gables, and then maybe perhaps some trimming work on the rear gable. Absolutely. And we can work directly with, you know, the staff to make that work for them.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you for your presentation. What's the overhang length for
The overhang length we have is 1'4" right now, 16 inches.
Let's see what else. And
So
then do
it's
you have?
16 inches on the side,
Oh.
and then for the gable ends, we have it at 1 foot. We can actually make that a 16-inch as well, if we need to.
And do you have any information on any sort of exterior lighting for these houses?
Exterior lighting, we are proposing just to use some recessed lighting on the porch. Nothing like, you know, no wall sconces right now. So everything is actually kind of recessed on the porch ceiling.
So as sort of Ron hinted at, and also with like the pictures you showed, like what was the reasoning behind sort of the stucco brick pattern as opposed to maybe just a change of color or something like that on those columns in front of the house?
We can certainly do that.
Okay.
Instead of
Yeah.
creating a stucco brick
Mhm.
kind of look, we can certainly change the color and make it smooth.
Let's see, and then we kind of addressed the rear gables. All right, that's all my questions. Oh, could you pull up the site plan just for me to take
Sure.
a look at it again
Absolutely.
and just kind of wrap my head around location?
So it's Columbus, and then 21st Street on the east side, alley on the rear. The house is set back about 13 feet, that's the block average in that area. You got the steps in front of the building, that's the main porch. And then the house starts from here all the way back to there with a 20-foot setback. We also located the AC pad behind the building, so you don't see it from the street. And we also have a rear porch with steps leading to a little concrete sidewalk that leads back to the concrete driveway in the back.
How deep are the front and rear porches?
The front porch is 8 feet deep. The rear porch is about the same. It's about 8 feet.
All right, great, thank you.
Excellent.
Ms. Welch?
Did we have anything, sorry, show you. Let me, did we have anything on our lighting or hardware? Did you show anything on that?
No, we were just proposing recessed can lights in the ceiling porches.
Okay,
No wall sconces.
okay. I think that was my only question. We already talked about the column. Okay, yeah, that was the only thing that hasn't already been addressed.
Okay. We can go back to, can you go back to
The elevation?
actually, when you're on the sheet, gutters and downspouts, did we define those?
All right, so gutters and downspouts, we're not showing those on the elevations right now, but because we have to meet stormwater, you know, we
Right,
got to address
capturing
it
all that.
during, you know, permitting. We are planning to use gutters and downspouts with ADS pipes.
The ADS pipes will be underground though.
Right,
What are
the
you gonna
ADS
show on the exterior of the house? Is it like a half round, or are you gonna do like a typical K-style?
Typical case style.
Okay. Ron, that's probably okay for this area, right? Doing the K-style up Columbus.
With the exposed rafter tails, the half-round gutters are much more sensitive, so that character-defining feature reads down the side of the house. So I would, investigate putting the half-round gutters.
Okay. Half-round gutters. Will be
Okay,
good.
and if we can move to the elevations. And half-round gutters go into round downspouts, and that'll be easier to tie into your ABS
Correct.
as well,
That's
so.
correct.
So on the front elevation, we're gonna get rid of the stucco brick, right?
Right, we're gonna get
All
rid
right,
of.
so we're just gonna, paint that a different color, trim color. I think that's a good improvement. The shaker siding, I'm not sure if that's a great application, or I'd almost rather just see flat stock hardy board going across. But, you know, you were also talking about adding a gable vent there, which I think is a nice detail. You've already got the brackets in there, but they
Right.
get kind of lost in the drawing, so I think a little gable vent and maybe some hardy board trim, just flat stock, would look a little bit nicer, and same thing for the rear elevation. On the rear elevation, I don't think we need to have a decorative column back there, but I think that's gonna go to stucco.
Right.
And then we talked about lights, that's all, with the porches, you're gonna have a light stuck up in the soffit there on the front and back, so no exterior lights. I do like the exposed rafter tails there, and with the gutters, I think that's gonna look, you know, really sharp. So no stucco there, materials, gables, wood clad windows, great. And I think this is a nice little project. I think that it's appropriate for the proportions and the overhangs and everything. The shingles, I'd say we need to work with staff to get that approved for a color that's, you know, apparent in the district with, same with the hardware, lighting, finishes, shingles, stucco pattern as Rod alluded to. So all that kind of works with a staff approval. But besides that, I think this is a nice looking project. And the windows are laid out well. They're pretty, you know, simple layout, but it's well done.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I do want to add just a couple suggestions, just in kind of understanding the project a little better after the presentation. This being affordable housing and obviously being a priority for the mayor's goals, we do want to meet the design guidelines, but still be able to stay within economic constraints that obviously are exasperated with the current real estate market. I'd like a little flexibility to work with the applicants. I think the window that they showed was a very nice window, but we have been approving all vinyl windows that have historic dimensions, which would, I think, be a savings to them. We could, you know, kind of redistribute maybe the budgetary items to the gable ends or some of those additional materials that we were talking about. I also think there's an opportunity to simplify that column on the rear porch to bring it into just a more, you know, basic reference without having to be a full-blown pier and column detail. So just as you're forming your motion, if you would allow the staff some latitude in those areas, I think we can kind of improve the project aesthetically and still keep it within the budgetary constraints that we have.
Agreed. Yeah, I think we've kind of seen that even with like the stucco brick for the columns, getting rid of that. That's saved some money, as well as me, you know, doing some typical lap siding instead of the shakers up front would help. Okay, so you've heard our comments. We're going to go ahead. You have a few minutes to summarize any comments or questions that you have, and then we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing after that.
I think we are good on our end.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. We'll have some discussion amongst the commissioners at this point.
Right now, I don't have anything.
Like you mentioned, it's affordable housing, so obviously budget is the utmost of concern, and for what it is, it's, you know, very well proportioned, like you said. Layout is nice, matches the historic context, so, good job.
No comment at all.
Yeah, I think the applicant did a real nice job with this project. You know, it's certainly appropriate for the district, given affordable housing. I think we all need more of that around these parts these days, so, and we know that's an important issue for the mayor, so it's a big push right now. But I like the project, and I think it's well detailed, and I think there's a few things to work out with staff, as you can do in the field, and we can entertain a motion.
So I'll go ahead and do a final approval with conditions. So move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in BLC 22-39 for the property located at 2022 East Columbus Drive with the following conditions. That the applicant works with staff to finalize the gable designs both at the front and the rear, whether it's adding vents or using hardy trim board or something instead to make that fit within the historic context a little better. For them to remove the stucco brick pattern and instead work with staff to do a smooth stucco finish and, you know, pick out the final color palette for the exterior of the house. That you have leeway with staff to potentially use vinyl windows instead of the wood-clad windows, and potentially to simplify the rear column as well. Let's see, was there anything else that I missed? And as part of the exterior color palette to, finalize the color of the shingles as well. And then, let's see, and then to use half rounds for the gutters.
And I just say make sure that they work out the window trim detail with staff.
Oh, yeah, and if using vinyl windows, of course, to make sure that, work with staff with the window trim details to fit the historic context as well. Because based upon the finding in fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Ybor City Design Guidelines of the City of Tampa based on the following reasons: that it fits the design criteria for new construction in terms of height and width, setback, spacing, alignment, and similarity of details and forms and building materials for its surrounding contents.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor of, you said, do you want to confirm there are certain conditions placed on the application? I'd like you to confirm that you're okay with these proposed changes.
We are okay with the proposed changes.
Thank you, appropriate. Thank you, appreciate it. All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. Moving to the next agenda item, which is BLC 22-61. This is for the address of 2024 East Columbus Drive. Currently, it's a vacant parcel. The zoning is a little atypical. If you look on the Sanborn map, just to kind of illustrate, the front portion of this parcel has a YC2 zoning classification, and then the rear of this parcel has a RS50. Internally, staff is already looking at this with the zoning department to clarify all parcels within the Ybor City boundaries should have a YC zoning classification. So we're starting that process. If this is to go forward with a final approval, a condition should be imposed on the approval that the zoning be worked out to have one zoning classification. The dual zoning classification poses some challenges with setbacks. So as you're reviewing the project today, it is not in keeping with the RS50 zoning. So once that's cleared up, then the project can move forward as presented, hopefully. But please put that caveat or that condition on the final approval if that's the wish of the board. This request is for a certificate of appropriateness for new construction for a primary structure with site improvements. This is the buddy lot to what we just saw. This is the parcel to the east. This is on the corner of Columbus Drive and 21st Street, two one-way streets with the alley in the back. And I just lost my screen. There it is. Moving to the vicinity map, once again, it's over here on the corner of 21st and Columbus. It does have the alley that will be accessed to meet City of Tampa code for the one-car requirement for parking within this urban environment. Looking from above, corner lot with the intersection of Columbus and 21st with the alley. Looking back, this is the subject site here. This is the lot that we just looked at. Just going through the photo presentation again, it was consistent with what we saw already. This is just to refresh your memory. This is looking down Columbus Drive. This is looking to the east. This is Columbus Drive to the west. Directly across the street. This is across 21st. You see some of the vernacular and the forms that are there. This is the entrance to the alley off of 21st. The current condition of the alley. And just looking down 21st, this is looking to the north. This is the entrance to the alley that's here. That concludes the photo presentation, and the applicant can address the board.
So good morning again. Juan Quinones again, and Elliot Acosta on behalf of the owner. So we have, again, the site to the east of the previous site that we just talked about. Columbus is to the south, North 21st is to the east, We have the alley on the back side of the property, on the rear side of the property. We are proposing coming into the property or park into the property from the east side of the property, getting into the side. Again, we have worked with staff to kind of address how we enter the site. Previously, we had to enter through the alley, and there was not enough room to make that happen for one parking spot. So it was better for us to do it through the side. So we work with staff. They allow us to, they actually ended up telling us to come in through the side of the property. Side setbacks are 5 feet on each side. We have a little bit more on this property. It's 5 foot on the west side, 5'4" on the east side. Again, we're using the block average to set our house front within the property. It's about 13.25 from the sidewalk, the edge of the sidewalk, to the face of the porch right now. The living area, finished floor, will be 30 inches above the grade. And we have the AC pad located on the rear of the property. We have our front porch to the front of the property, and then the rear porch will be kind of like in the corner on the east side of the property. That's our site. This house, again, is very similar to the previous house. It's identical, pretty much. So we're gonna take into account of adding the vents to the front of the house and the rear of the house, and then adding just the smooth hardy board siding instead of the shaker siding. We're thinking also to remove the brick, stucco brick, and make that a different color, working with staff and making sure that the colors we pick are appropriate. Exposed rafter tails. We have asphalt shingles. We were thinking about using the wood cladded windows. Again, if allows, we can use the vinyl cladded the vinyl windows will be better. In this case, we also have the stucco band going around the building just to separate the base from the rest of the building. And then we're gonna be using hardy board siding, hardy board trim around the windows instead of stucco bands. Construction type will be a stem wall, 30 inches above grade, with stucco finish, exposed rafters, 2x8s on the fascia, 2x6s on the rest of the rafter tails. And again, we're thinking about using a period appropriate door, single pane on the top, and then the two panels below it. Window type, single window, single hung window, 1/1, white, and similar properties are surrounding that has stucco finish, and kind of similar finishes will be the 2911 North 18th Street, 2801 North 16th Street, and there's a few more, but we kind of simplified it to that. And that concludes my presentation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. Staff's finding that this application is consistent with the Ybor City Design Guidelines. This is the sister house to the one that we just saw. The conditions on the Stafford part are identical. I just want to make sure that two things are entered into the record if this is to receive final approval, that the design exception for the front yard averaging is started and submitted to zoning, and that this is a conditional approval, that the underlying zoning that has the bifurcated zoning be corrected as this project moves forward. I'll be here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I could add to that, just in, once again, seeing the presentation, one of our comments was that there be additional fenestration along the south elevation. And I think, you know, one solution that I think would not only accomplish that, but I think result in probably a better living experience for the occupants would be if this whole floor plan was flipped, so that that porch would then be internal to the lot and not on 21st Street. And you would also get the extra window that's on that currently north elevation and place that in the south elevation. So perhaps that's a discussion point for the commission as you move along.
Is anyone here from the public wishing to comment on this case? Same comments as previous? Okay. All right, we can go ahead and ask some questions of the applicant.
Same comment as before, you know, with the shaker finish, maybe changing that to stucco and adding the vent, the
Absolutely.
gable vent. Could you point to where that additional window that Mr. Fernandez was talking about?
I believe he's stating there is an additional window, let's see.
On the other side?
So if we flip the house, then you have the rear window, which is this window here, facing the street. And then making the balcony or the back porch more private for the resident, because it'll be a flip side. Right now, that porch is actually facing the street.
Gotcha, okay.
So if we flip the house, it'll make it definitely more private for the resident, so.
Good.
I think that's a good point he made. Take that into account, absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you pull up the site plan again, so we can just kind of
Sure.
look at how everything gets affected when things get flipped? Okay, so your driveway clears, yeah, I think that's a great
Right.
comment to flip it, and besides that, I think the only difference you said between the houses is just trim on the windows, right? This will be a hardy trim as opposed to a
Right.
stucco banding.
Right, and I think what we're gonna do is both houses will have the same kind of trim work around the windows instead of stucco around the windows.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yep, all right,
Different
fantastic.
paint scheme, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if these lots are fenced, because it's almost like you kind of like share your driveway. If you mirror that, right, then you're sharing your driveways pretty
Right.
closer, not, you know, getting around that fence post to bring that car in is kind of tricky, but that 21st, people fly down that street, so I think it's a wise move. If you guys don't, you know, take some additional work, I didn't know if you were doing cookie cutter plans and not mirroring them, but if you mirror that and bring that alley, you know, driveway off the alley, I think does a lot of things for you there. Additional privacy, cuts down on, you know, people getting hit out there, turning into their driveway.
That makes sense.
As it is, you know, they're gonna be turning into the alley, but, you're right there, so, and then the additional privacy, I think, is a good thing, so, yeah.
I don't have anything more than what we discussed last time.
Okay, you have a few minutes if you wanna summarize anything after our discussion?
I think everything that you guys have mentioned are good pointers. We're gonna take that back seriously and make those updates to the drawings before we submit back to, for building permits, hopefully. As far as the fence goes, is there a way we can actually allow the future residents to provide that fence?
No.
No?
Well, I mean, it'd have to come back, you know, there's certain
They would have to come back.
guidance for what the fence can look like within the district, so,
it.
you know, I was more concerned about that for a turning radius, but if there is a fence, I think it's something that staff could handle,
Okay.
if it's typical, but usually we'd like a wood fence there, white, and no chain link. So,
Okay, yeah, no change, please. Absolutely.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and close the public hearing. Any discussion among the commissioners?
None of mine.
Make a similar statements last time?
Yeah, but, yeah, whoever's gonna do the motion,
I
same comments as last time. We can give the applicant the option to mirror that house to bring it in, which it sounds like they're gonna do anyways. And then we need the front yard setbacks, and the zoning's gonna move to follow the YC2,
Right, yep.
which is happening concurrently with the city right now.
All right, so move to final approval with conditions. So move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in BLC 22-61 for the property located at 2024 East Columbus Drive with the following conditions. to remove the stucco brick pattern and in lieu of a smooth stucco and to work out the exterior color palette with staff, including the asphalt shingles for the roof. Let's see. That they're able to simplify the rear column to mirror the plan of the project. I guess along the north-south axis there, and update the site plan accordingly and work with staff with that. To also, how do I word this? To make the zoning to just YC2 and follow those setbacks for the lot associated with the property. Let's see. To use half-round gutters, and then to be able to work with staff to use vinyl in lieu of wood-clad windows. And let's see, anything else that I may have missed?
There's a design exception that needs to be approved. A condition for the design exception to be approved.
Is that in terms of the zoning, the condition?
Front setback.
That's what staff had just.
Front yard setback.
Oh, yeah, okay, so, condition for the design exception to be approved for the front setback. I believe that's all of it, right? Okay, and then based on the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Ybor City Design Guidelines of the City of Tampa for the following reasons. It fits the design criteria for new construction based on height, width, setback, spacing, alignment, similar details of forms, and building materials for its surrounding context.
Second.
Okay, are you, is the applicant okay with all the conditions placed upon this application as discussed at this meeting?
Yes, we are.
Okay. All in favor of said motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank
you.
you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners, for that motion. Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. The last agenda item this morning is BLC 22-75. This is for the address of 1924 East Fifth Avenue. Currently, there is a non-contributing primary structure there that was constructed and approved in 2011. The underlying zoning there is YC7. The request for a certificate of appropriateness is for new construction, just for an accessory structure and possibly some site improvements. Moving to the photo essay. We're back on Fifth Avenue, which is the primary street. This project is in between 19th and 20th. It does have an alley in the back of the project. Looking at the vicinity map, you see that there is some fabric, some historic fabric there. The shaded areas indicate contributing structures on Fifth that abut both sides of the subject site. The clear area shows that this is a non-contributing structure. Looking at the vicinity map from above, the structure was purposely shifted over when it was reviewed by the Barrio Latino Commissioner to allow some access. It has vehicular access off the front and off the alley that you'll see in the photos to come. This is looking at the two-story primary structure, single family. This is looking at the abutting contributing structure to the west. This is the parking area that they have coming off of Fifth Avenue. And a contributing structure to the east of the subject site. This is internal behind the fenced-in area. The accessory structure will go approximately in this location here. And just looking from the back of the property, back at some of the additional parcel that they have. This is looking at the primary structure. This is block construction. As the proposals coming forward, you see the reveal and the inset of the windows. You see the implementation of the siding and the trim. You see the shadowing and the trim itself. This is looking at the engaged garage to the non-contributing primary structure. Just looking at the accessory structure is going to go in the corner of the parcel and the condition of the alley. That concludes the photo presentation and the agent will address the board at this time.
My name is James Kenson. I'm the authorized agent for Corey Brown, which is the owner of the property. I'm also the design builder for this project, so I'll be able to answer any questions you have about the accessory structure. It's going to be a new construction project, so it will be a mono slab, 8 inches above grade.
Before you get started, sir, were you sworn in?
Yes, I was.
Okay, thanks.
So I was about 8 inches above grade. It's going to be a concrete block wall, engineered roof truss system. It's going to be a hardy board covering to the outside. It's going to be vinyl impact windows that meet Florida code. And I believe I have the site plan to start out with, I guess if that's where we need to start. Yeah, I'm just trying to get hooked up here right now. Okay. Yeah, this is your HDMI, right? There we go. All right, so this is the proposed home, the new construction home that we'd like to do. I have different views of this too. So this would be the view facing Fifth Avenue. So if you were to walk through the front gate, this is the view you would see walking to the home. It's a 14 by 28 structure. The roof is on a 212 pitch that it matches the existing structure. So the existing roof is on a slant, and this one actually matches that. It matches the existing home with the hardy board siding, with the main color and the existing color. I mean the window color. What can I tell you about that? It's just going to be used as a guest house, and it does match, like I said, the existing structure and all the homes around it too. Everything's done by Florida code, impact doors and windows, all full 200 amp service going into the unit, full plumbing and AC. So it's pretty much just a new construction, small home, going to be used as a guest house on the property.
Drive around and
Yep.
show your line runs as well.
Yep, so I'll show you some different. So this is just the back side that would be facing the property on the east side. So you can see what the view would be that they would be looking at. This is the side from Fifth Ave, as I was explaining in the first picture, that's actually which will be seen from the street. And the level there, the first part is 10 feet going down to an 8 foot. The second level is 14 feet going down to 10, giving the 212 pitch on both sides. The second side is going to be a loft, and that's why that's higher like that. We're using the same type of front door as the same front door on the primary house to match the same look that we have. And then we're still using, impact doors and windows all the way around. This is the view from the alley side. So if you were to drive in from the alley side, this is going to be the view that you would see from that side. No windows on the back side because the bathroom and the loft are using that back wall. But everything else has try to get a lot of light coming in there, especially with the skylight too. The skylight actually adds a lot of light into the loft. And using that skylight too, it actually matches the existing homes around it too. Some of the homes have skylights that could, kind of gives that same feature that, is existing in Ybor City. We're using a metal roof. I have pictures of that metal roof here too, from existing homes that we've done. Is there a way to put that on there? There you go. So that's just two angles of that to see the type of metal roof. And the metal roof we use comes in all different colors. So this one here is in black, but the one we'd be using would be in a light gray to match the existing home.
And go back to your HDMI.
And then I have some pictures of actually what the inside would look like. So this right here is the loft. You can see the view from the loft with the skylight. This would be the looking up from the first floor into the loft with the staircase on the right side. This is the look as you'd be coming down the stairs. This is the view that you'd be looking at Fifth Ave and at the primary home that exists. This is a view from the back side, looking from the Fifth Ave in, so you can kind of get an idea. Living room, kitchen, bathroom, and then like a small loft bedroom. It's another view of the side, just another kind of view. This one here is probably the more important one. This is the floor plan. So this is in a 3D image, so you can see how the bed and the loft sit upstairs with the stairs on the right. Part of the loft overlooks the kitchen on below, and that's where the area is open at the edge of where the bed and the platform is. And then you can see the bottom floor. So we just kind of pulled the loft out, and you can see where the kitchen setup is, the bathroom setup. On the right there, that's going to be set up for the utility room as far as the air handler, water heater, and so forth there. Anything we need to put in there. And then just the basic layout. You can see the pathway on the side. That's right by the main primary structure. The fence that's going to separate. We're using a 5-foot setback on the side and on the alley side to meet code. So I believe that meets the fire structure that you guys are looking for between homes. And just back to the main picture of what the house will look like.
You got light drawings too?
Yes.
Show those images as well.
So these images here, I just wanted to show that when we do the block construction, how the windows will sit. That shows the existing now, and what we'll be using, along with the hardy board trim, we'll be using a hardy board trim that go around it. So you'll have a hardy board against the block, and then you'll have your hardy board going around the window. Same feature here, using either a composite or a pressure-treated wood going around. Here's just another image showing the type of windows and how they're actually recessed back on the home, up on the top and the bottom floor. Still using the existing trim going around it and the existing colors. Yes, all the colors match the existing home. And then this shows what kind of handles we'd be using as far as, any kind of handles on the existing house would match the small home that we're doing in there. Wall detail. Here's the wall detail. So from the top, we'll be using a metal roof with an 18-inch metal fascia, aluminum fascia covering the sides, concrete block wall all the way down to the slab, 4-inch concrete slab, mono slab, about 8 inches above grade. Hardy board siding attached to the block, spray foam insulation that will be used up in the attic or in the trusses, and then we'll be using 2x10 as floor trusses going across to hold up the second floor, which will be attached to the block on either side. Okay. This is the site plan. So from our last conversation and our last meeting, one of the things that needed to be corrected on here was the direction as far as showing north.
That a little bit bigger. I know Rich is having a hard time seeing it.
All right.
There we go.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, sure. At the very top, you can see, on the original site plan, we didn't have the AC located on the back side of the house. But you can see what we did is we actually placed that on the back corner near the alley. So that's actually sitting in the 5-foot space between the fence and the home. And then here, we actually have the northeast, or the direction of north, which again, the different directions of where the house is placed. That wasn't on there either, which it was requested that we put on the site plan. And then also there was some work here in the front by the street. I guess from what the owner was telling me and from our last meeting, there was one stone that was interfering with the way they would come in and out of the driveway. So the correction for that was to actually remove the stone, dig down, and put the stone properly level with the street, and then put a new piece of concrete, right on the side there, so they wouldn't have to hit this piece of concrete coming out. And this was a recommendation by you guys also, excuse me, Mr. Vila.
Is that your presentation?
Nope, I have one more too. So this right here is the elevations, and this shows how the elevations match what we plan to build. Hardy board siding, the windows, the trim, the structural height of the building, the location of the air conditioner, and also the skylight that's in there. So I'm just gonna move this around for you to see. There's that one, that's the back side. There's the front elevation. That's the right side. And there's the left side. Showing you. Say that again? I didn't hear.
I'll hold that question.
Okay, sure. So this will conclude my presentation. I guess I'm open for questions.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. Staff's finding that this application is consistent with the Ybor City Design Guidelines. The conditions that were attached to our staff report are as follows. To review the drawings and provide accuracy from the line drawings to the renderings. The renderings, they don't show, I know it's kind of more as an inspiration tool, but no corner boards. The line drawings show corner boards. I believe they showed a window on the line drawings on the rear elevation, and you had talked about that the rear elevation was not going to have any windows. So additional discussion on the accuracy of what was presented today. He had talked about the stone transportation, looked at this through our internal meeting with all applicants as they come forward. He was referring to the granite curbing. They wanted the width of the apron to be modified to meet current standards. As presented, it doesn't, so they have the opportunity to correct the deficiencies. So the granite curbing will be depressed in place so the city knows where our inventory is at, and in the event that it needs to be raised up and the curbing needs to be expressed, the curb is there. So he's just going to depress the curbing and modify the apron. On his renderings, he showed some stepping stones, if that's going to be incorporated into this project. The materials and the placement, additional information on the site work. I don't know if there's gonna be a fence in front of the parking that comes off of Fifth Avenue, a new fence, or are you gonna keep the existing fence? And on the drawings, there was reference to an aluminum soffit, I believe. The agent might have some pictures of the existing condition to show how he's going to mimic the soffit that's there. That concludes my portion, and I'll be here to answer any questions.
Anyone here from the public wishing to comment? All right, we're going to go ahead and ask the questions. We'll start with Ms. Welch from the left today.
Can you put the site plan back up for me, please?
It's the, no.
No, talk him.
And just reduce it a little bit for me. Reduce it a little more. Okay, so we have, this property is right up here in the top corner, top right corner, correct?
Where the home, the new home will go, yes.
Okay, so that's where the new home is gonna go. And what is this street to the side? I'm confused at my orientation, so I'm trying to get it.
Sure.
You've got Fifth Avenue coming across, so the front of the primary home faces Fifth Avenue.
Correct.
All right, now this secondary home, guest house, is going to face what?
So the primary home is facing Fifth Ave, so it's on Fifth Ave.
Okay,
The accessory structure is also going to be facing Fifth Ave, but in the back of the property on the alley side.
so when I walk down Fifth Avenue and I look into this area, I'm gonna see an entire, I'll say, backyard, and then I'm gonna see this structure on the back of the property.
You might see some of it. The fence is so high, they have a privacy fence going around, so you probably won't see much of that from the street. You would actually have to walk up to the fence and kind
Look
of do
over.
one of those
Okay.
to see in and what's going on in there.
Okay, that helps me. That was my biggest thing right now.
Yeah, the privacy fence goes from the main structure to the neighboring property, from the neighboring property all the way to the street, or I should say to the driveway. It actually extends to the street, but it branches at the driveway and goes back to the main structure.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because they've got, the current home, the primary home's got a little driveway here, and then there's that wooden fence separating the driveway.
Yes, and my rendering, it shows the front. I kind of made a rendering to show how it was laid out. If you want me to go back to that to show you.
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
I think I'm okay. I think right now that's all I have. I may come back.
It's kind of,
I reserve the right.
okay. Yeah, it's kind of like a hidden home. I walk by this all the time, and it's like there's so many trees and things in front of it. It's like a hidden
Yeah.
gem right there, and then this is gonna be a second hidden gem in that property, so kind of cool. I'll come back with my questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so just going over some materials. I think you said there was gonna be an 18-inch aluminum fascia, but what was the soffit underneath? Or was there
Right, no, it's fascia. So the trusses that go on the home are going to be 18 inches from top to bottom cord. So when they stick out and they're going to come out 10 inches off the side of the house, you're going to have your fascia. You're going to have 18 inches of fascia.
Okay.
So to cover that, there's going to be a metal fascia to match the roof.
Got it, okay. And then, are there gonna be gutters around?
I didn't know if we were required to have gutters. Right now, the owner didn't really want gutters on the home. If it's required, then we have no problem putting them on there. I think the only part that it would affect is probably on the back side of the house to defer the water, maybe towards the alleyway.
Okay. And then you probably just get gutters to match the primary home if they're.
I don't think there's gutters on the primary home.
No, there are no gutters in the primary home.
I'll look at my picture. Yeah, there's like a white, it's
looks like
actually
there's
a
something there, yeah.
white one.
All right, and then at the corners where you have some just like corner trim pieces.
So it'll be matched with hardy board the same way, so the hardy board will come to a corner, and then you'll have the trim on the corner piece there.
All right, great. I believe those are. Oh, and then on the renderings, I see a walkway on the site plan, and so is that going to be like those like little brick pavers you saw on the rendering, or is it gonna be different?
Yep, so currently in the property, in the backyard, they have this brick setup. So it's like kind of take out the grass, it's just one brick walkway. The walkway over the years has been kind of messed with, so, with things growing underneath it, it kind of gives a little wave to it. So the customer found this design online where you have your stones and you have grass in between. I thought a really good way of kind of keeping the cost down and fixing their problem and give them something decorative at the same time was to remove some of the stones. So, we'll make a template, we'll put it on top, and then we'll start strategically removing some stones. And when we do that, we're going to replace it with grass. So as we do this, we'll be leveling down and fixing it, which is going to give you this look. But the stone and everything is already in the ground and there. We're just going to be removing some, straightening it, and putting some grass in.
All right, great, thank you.
I think I drive by here all the time, and I've never seen this. I've probably seen it, but it's.
We
Can
named
you
it.
show some of the existing photos that you have again?
Sure, we named it the garden loft, and one of the reasons is because once you go in that backyard, it just looks like one big garden, because like you said, the trees and everything and the foliage, the way it is, just leaves to like that garden type feel.
I just want to see,
Yep.
I know the rendering is green and all that, but I want to see.
Sure. Tell me where you'd like to go.
The existing house. Do you have imagery of it? There was one photo that was all black and, dark and, okay.
They're gonna match all the colors to that.
Is there one that you show more of the roof? I'm just trying to figure out what it looks like. Yeah.
This would work. You can't? Okay. So I think I have a picture on there that shows the degree. I backed up and took one.
There's one in your packet here. I mean, there's a rear, a front, and a rear.
But we face the home the way the roof is to match the existing one. So if you were kind of looking back, the existing one would face the same direction and the other one would meet just with a separation of the space in the homes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's it on my end. I don't have any more comments, questions.
Okay, I noticed some inconsistencies between the renderings and the line drawings, the elevations. It has to do with window placement, sizes, proportions. I think the line drawings look more accurate, but I don't know if, I don't want to get into it in too much detail, but like if you look at the renderings, that the big window, that's the little window next to the front door in the kitchen looks too big, and it's not, I think, placed very well. So I wanted to see if we can switch that over, but when you look at your elevations, that window is much smaller, and it's placed more sensitive, and the proportions, like your renderings, the upper windows and the loft are not centered within those walls, but your elevations have them centered. So as a general rule, you know, I think staff understands what the proportions are doing there, but I want to make sure that we understand what your intent is there.
All right, so the window placement is more accurate in my rendering than here. So what it is the architect.
Then you need to bring it up then.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
both of them.
I'm sorry.
So like your upper level window in the back, okay, that is not centered within that wall.
That's accurate.
Yeah, that's more accurate. So that upper window is shifted to the left, not in the center?
Right, it looks like the architect, when he was drawing these, moved it over too far. But this is where we wanted on the far side to give the light in a certain way in the loft. Moving it over too far wouldn't give us the light there, and it would be kind of where the overhang is, where the space is down
You
below.
want to bring up your line drawing, your elevation? I don't know if you could put that on the Elmo and then, or, see, that's centered. The window to the left of the door is much smaller and it's more, I think, more appropriately placed. Whereas when you get to the rendering, it's too big, and then I think this placement's better, but I just want to understand.
Yeah, on the rendering too, it is made for that. The dimensions of that window are 18-inch by 2 foot. And I have the window product here too, so you can see if you wanted to see that. So the window is there, and even though the drawing might look where the window is small, the size is an 18 wide by 24-inch high.
Mm-hmm. Like a little view window.
And that's a fixed window.
And then like this line drawing, you have full height windows, those two on the right-hand side. They're full height windows with clear stories above them.
So say that, I'm not understanding that.
So right now you're showing us 1/1 windows for the two windows here.
Correct,
Now, if we
right.
go back to the rendering, I'm sorry.
I know, yeah, I see.
They're
what you're
full
saying.
height windows that go all the way down to slab, and then they've got the clear story window.
Yeah, so
top.
this was probably more of a more decorative look that, you know, but for code-wise, we have to have the 3 foot by 6 foot windows. And that's what I have here as far as product codes. So these are the ones that we're gonna be using.
So the rendering's not accurate here,
Rendering's just a little off. This was when the
but they're not full height, like, see how that goes almost down to the slab?
No, they're like they're just like these here.
And there's no window above?
No, they're just solid windows.
Okay. So we're kind of meshing two sets of drawings kind of here together.
Right.
I mean, windows are important to us, that's why I want to make sure that we've,
Yeah, when we originally did this design, we thought we might be able to go with this way, but you know, obviously we have to go with the way the Florida code is, which is a 3x6 window, which gives a 57 square foot opening for egress.
that's
So
only for
it's-
bedrooms, right?
Say that again?
That's only for bedrooms.
We left
You
it
have
in
a
the
door.
home because there's no way to get out of the bedroom, kind of per se. It's a loft.
You're talking about the windows upstairs now?
Right, there's only one fixed windows upstairs, so the rest of them, we wanted egress windows.
I mean, you have a door.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, you know, that's something that, you know, I think there's two different options here. I think we'll work with staff on getting that finalized. You know, I think the two upper level windows, I'm okay with them being off center, kilted to the side for your loft. I kind of I'd prefer them in the middle of those walls.
This doesn't look as as visually, appealing as the window in the middle compared to the side. Just the way we kind of envision the building looking.
And I'm okay with that. I just think it's better in the backside. Is there a window on the backside?
There's a window in the bathroom. We have that window here, and in my rendering, it doesn't show that. But on the drawing,
it's in on the
on the original drawing here for the architectural, it does.
Okay, 5 foot rear setback, okay. We talked about that side window by the door. Skylight. What's your proposed skylight up there? Do you have a cut sheet on that?
Yeah, so right here, it's a 4x4 skylight window.
4x4?
Yes.
Square?
Yeah, so that way it fits right in between the two sets of trusses.
Okay.
So you said your trusses are 2 foot on center.
Yep.
By removing one, we frame in, and this would drop right in between the two.
Okay. And you've got your Florida product approval there. So is that a flat glass or is that dome?
That's flat, that's manually open, so when it sits, it will
So it's a
open. So, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's flat glass, it's
Right.
not a dome?
No.
I think flat is certainly more historically appropriate for the area. And it's glass, not polycarbonate. Okay, and one thing that you may want to consider, and this may be a code issue for you down the road, is you're entering your stairs going up into the low side of the loft. So your headroom there is only like 3'6".
So that's why the space is between the platform of the loft and the wall of the second floor. That opening there gives you full headroom to walk up the stairs. So you
Yeah,
don't-
but once you get in the loft at the top of the stairs,
you're gonna be about 5, yeah, so you're going from about 5 feet to probably 3.5, maybe 4 feet.
3.5, 4
Yeah.
feet, yeah. Typically, you'd enter onto the high side.
Well, I was
the loft
mentioning-
would be like, you know.
I mentioned that to the
low.
owner, and he was kind of considering that too. So I don't know if that's an option that we can do that to make it,
Yeah.
better, so the headroom is on the right side than the other. We would still keep it, we just swap the kitchen and the stairs around,
Right,
to make it so we have that. I agree, I mentioned that also.
yeah. I think that's gonna be uncomfortable, because typically you enter into the high side, you tuck back into the low. and you're going to the
100%
low.
agree. Yep.
And it may be a code issue for you too, so I wouldn't go too far.
Sure, yeah, no, I think, like I said, I recommended it already, and with your recommendation too, then I'm gonna bring that up a second time.
Okay. Now, I think you have room to move that out, I know why you did it with the, slope going to the east side. I think that all works really well.
I
And
agree.
it's an internal thing that you can adjust if you need
Yep,
to.
you put it better on one side, your feet are on the smaller side.
Yeah,
Than,
that one
wherever
window
you're
would probably
putting it.
go to
Yep.
the other side,
Yeah,
maybe.
right, correct.
When you center it. No, I'm just- Okay, that's all I have for now. Okay, you can summarize any comments, you have a couple minutes to wrap it all up, and then we'll move on.
This is just gonna be, I think, a really good showpiece for the historic district. Right now, my company, Tiny Homes by Design, is probably the leading company in the state of Florida producing these homes. We only do a concrete product, Florida code product, hurricane-resistant product. I'm sure this isn't probably gonna be the first time you'll see me, because once we put this up, I imagine a lot of the neighbors are gonna want one too. seems like everywhere that I go and we do these homes, hey, great, you guys do that, huh? I want one too. So, and, you know, understanding that this could be good for, you know, Ybor City and the look, I think that this might be something that might kind of catch on down there too, for people who want, you know, additional space for their loved ones, mothers and stuff like that as they get older.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and close the public hearing. Any discussion amongst ourselves?
Just picking up on what you said, I would like him to, I like the look of the rendering on the first floor with the large windows.
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity looking towards the corner of the house and that big patio and all that. I mean, you don't need that for code. The 3x6, I think they were.
We were just trying to get the largest windows possible to kind of fit in that area to maximize the window space. So
Just take a look at the rendering. I think on the rendering, what you did on the rendering looks really good in that corner.
would it be okay if we did something like that, where we had the break in the windows? So we had.
We're gonna, yeah, I guess we're kind of
Oh, I'm sorry,
discussing that case,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't want to reopen
I'm
the
sorry.
public hearing
Sure.
at this point in time, but, you know, I think we kind of talked about that with, you know, I think they work with staff on whatever that final window package is, you know, there's a couple code issues that they can go through and take care of, but, yeah, I mean, I love that. You look at this as a garden house too, and I mean, unfortunately, I think they're losing one tree in that backyard, but they have another tree, and that's one thing I love about this house is the trees up front. It's a hidden oasis, and I think they want to continue that into the backyard. I think it lends itself to be more of a garden type retreat house, you know, in-law suite. So I think we'll kind of give them some direction on that. We work with staff on a final window package.
Yeah, agreed. And obviously the renderings show larger windows with a better story, so obviously that's a lot more light. Looks really nice, but obviously bigger windows are a lot more expensive too, and to get them to be operable too, then they lose their, you know, egress capabilities as well. So that I'm comfortable with staff, for him working with staff to finalize a window solution and placement as well.
I got nothing. I think it's a great little project, and I think it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, I think it's well done. I think the basic bones are there. I think it's kind of, for me, it kind of goes back to the first case. It's like, okay, we're looking at two different things. What are we going to do? This one, I know you know what you're doing here, and I think you have a relationship already with staff to be able to work through this. I think the bones there are good. Once we determine the final window package, I think proportionally making that work. But those higher second story or clear story windows really, you know, would be a nice accent. I'd definitely spend a little bit more money on those windows if you could. But I like the project. I think it works really well in the setting, and it's a nice little oasis back there in that garden. So.
I think you mentioned the others too.
Oh, and I think he'll eventually need gutters, so I mean, just he can work with staff to make the match the existing house, and I think that's fine, and, you know, then it just makes it work with permitting to, you know, get the drainage and everything like that on the site plan to work, right? So, again, move to a final approval with conditions, so move to grant certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in BLC 22-75 for the property located at 1924 East Fifth Avenue with the following conditions: that the applicant work with staff to finalize the window package and the locations for the windows, and to have gutters matching the existing house if gutters are needed for the new house, for the new build. Because based on the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Ybor City guidelines of the City of Tampa for the following reason: that it meets the design criteria for new construction based on the height and width, setback, spacing, alignment, similarity of details and forms, and building materials of its surrounding context.
Second, sorry.
So there's been a few conditions that we put as part of the motion. As the applicant would like to confirm that these are okay with them?
I agree.
Okay. All in favor of said motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more board business? Seeing none, we are now adjourned. Everyone have a nice couple weeks off, and we'll see you in 2 consecutive weeks in a month.